morning, guys. Good morning. I believe you can hear me loud and clear. Good morning. Confirm you can hear me loud and clear. Confirm you can hear me loud and clear. You're welcome to today's daily market outlook and review session. If there's any pair you want me to analyze, please let me know in the comment section. If there's any pair you want me to analyze, let me know in the comment section. You all are welcome. You're welcome. I was trading yesterday. I hope you made some profit yesterday. Hope you've started the week in profit and not in losses. If you have any question, please let me know in the comment section. So we'll start by looking at the calendar for the day. Let's start by looking at the calendar. Today is 20th of May, and we're expecting major news from Australia and Canada. Australian dollar news has been released. It was released 5:30 a.m. Nigerian time, and you can see the forecast in actual is the same. There was no increase or decrease on the cash rate, so the value remains the same. This tells me it is neutral. Okay, it's neither bullish nor bearish. Okay, and hard CPI will be released by 1:30 p.m. So we should expect high volatility on card pairs by 1:30 p.m. 1:30 p.m. Okay, so let's look at DXY, look at Japanese yen, the YenBasket, then we'll look at currency pairs. So let's start with the YenBasket. Okay, my bias for yen today is bullish. That's my bias, and you can see it's been bullish. If you attended the session we had last night, I told you guys my bias for the yen is bullish, and you can see today it's been bullish, and my bias for the yen still remains bullish. Let me look at the weekly. Okay, so it might contest the high of last week. Okay, it might test the high, which is an area of liquidity. Okay, you can see it here. It might, you can see at the moment, fair value gap just got filled. I think it has filled that fair value gap. So we could see a little retracement from this fair value gap. Okay, we could see a little retracement from this fair value gap before going for this liquidity residing at this previous high. Okay, so let's go down to 4 hour. Let's see what's happening on the 4 hour. Like I said, we could see a little retracement on the 4 hour time frame. You can see it has fitted a fair value gap. So I'd love to see price retrace to fill this fair value gap before going bullish on the yen. Okay, I'd like to see price pull back to fill this fair value gap. Or let's go down to 1 hour. So on 1 hour, you can see this fair value gap. I would like to see price fill that gap before going bullish. Okay, we have a fair value gap here, which is in confluence with this mitigation block. We had a mitigation block here. You can see this fair value gap. It's in confluence with this mitigation block, as you can see. First liquidity residing at this low was cleared. You can see that. Liquidity residing at this low was cleared. And after that, we had a shifting market structure. At this point, we had a shifting market structure. Okay, so after the shifting market structure, I want to see price pull back to a discount area or pull back to fill imbalance. Okay, before we go bullish on YenBasket. So my bias for yen today is bullish. Okay, my bias for yen is bullish. Okay, let's look at dollar index, DXY, to know the strength of the dollar. Okay, so my weekly bias for the dollar still remains bearish. I'm still bearish on the dollar, but for today's market, I'm looking for buy opportunity on the DXY. Okay, I'm looking for buy opportunity on the DXY. So on DXY, we had, you can see we had a fair value gap here. Most likely price wants to fill that gap before going bullish. Okay, that's what I see playing out on dollar index, you can see. So after filling this fair value gap, I want to see price pull back. I think it has created a fair value gap. Let's go down to lower time frame. Let's see 4 hour. I think it has created a fair value gap on 4 hour time frame. Okay, so you can see it's created a fair value gap. Okay, I think it's created a fair value gap. You can see on this is 4 hour time frame. If this candlestick closes bullish, we would have a fair value gap here, but we need to wait for the 4 hour candle to close. So let's work with 1 hour at the moment. So I would like to see GU pull back to fill this fair value gap before going bearish. Mr. Joseph, you're welcome. I would like to see GU pull back to fill this fair value gap. Okay, before going bearish. This will be my first area of interest. And also dollar index could come clear the liquidity residing at this previous high. You can see we have a fair value gap here. So those are my areas of interest on the dollar index. You can see we had a fair value gap here. We had a fair value gap here. So dollar index is likely going to pull back, fill this fair value gap, or complete liquidity residing at this previous high. So these are my two areas of interest. Price pulls back here and a bearish reversal pattern forms here. See my confluences, I will take a sell, I will sell the dollar, or if it breaks out from this high, it's going to go for the liquidity residing at this previous high. And after the liquidity gets cleared, I wait for a bearish reversal pattern to form on a 1 hour time frame or 4 hour time frame before going bearish. That is what I see playing out on dollar index. Joseph, you can hear me, right?
Yes,
you can
boss.
unmute
Yes,
your
boss.
mic, right? You are not muted. You can unmute your mic.
Yes, boss. I can hear you, sir.
Okay, you're talking. Okay, just that I can't. Let me. You can hear me, right?
Yes, boss. I can hear you.
Is he echoing? Is he echoing?
Yeah, I'm having feedback.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. And now? Is it still echoing?
No, I think it's okay now.
Okay, so let's go back to the chart. So that's my take on DXY. I'm still very bearish this week. Let's see the weekly chart. Let's see. So far this week it's been bearish. It's been bearish and bearish. So price pulled back, filled this fair value gap, and you can see the pattern that from last week. It's a shooting star, indicating change in trend from bullish to bearish. And if you go down to daily, let's see what we had on a daily. So you can see the pattern we had on a daily. But to work on a daily, we would identify this low. You see the low of this candle. And yesterday candle closed below the low of this bullish candlestick, which indicates change in trend. And you can see we had a support here. Price broke out, also broke out from that support, indicating that there's more supply than demand. That's what it indicates. Now let's go down to 4 hour. Let's see what's happening on 4 hour. So said we'll wait for 4 hour to do a little retracement before selling. Okay, so that's my take on the dollar index. I'm still very bearish. Still very bearish. I see dollar index coming for this low. See it's coming for this low. Technically, okay. We have our major news will be released on Thursday, I think. There are major news for the dollar on Thursday, but technically, dollar index should drop to these levels. That's what I'm aiming for. You guys said you're looking for buys. My bias for today's market is buy, okay, but for the week, I still see dollar index selling, okay? So that's it for the dollar and the yen basket. So let's look at currency pairs. If there's any pair you want me to analyze, please let me know. Let me know. Mr. Joseph, you can leave your mic open. You can leave your mic open. Right, if you have any pair you want me to analyze, let me know.
I think we'll look at GJ.
GJ, okay. Let's just look at GBPUSD and EURUSD before we look at GJ, okay. So on GBP £10 USD, GBPUSD, like I said, dollar is weak. Okay, I would like to see dollar, sell today. I'd like to see dollar buy today. So I'll be looking for sells, okay? Sells on GBPUSD. Okay, but if price breaks out from this resistance on GBPUSD, then we should expect more buys on GBPUSD. If price takes out this the liquidity residing at this equal high, then we should expect more buys. But if you look at what we have here, I thought after this sweep of liquidity at this point, what happened? There was a shift in market structure at this point. And after the shift in market structure, yes, price is expected to pull back to a premium area. If we apply our Fibonacci from this swing high to this swing low, price has, is at a premium area. So I would like to see price pull back. Okay, I would like to see a retracement on GBPUSD. Okay, so yesterday candle was strongly bullish, tested this resistance, also cleared some liquidity residing at this previous high. Then if you go down to 4-hour, okay, so it gave us, you can see the pattern it gave us last night, right? This was the pattern we had yesterday on the 4-hour time frame. Then we had a shooting star here. After the formation of the shooting star, let's see what we had on 1 hour. So we had this pattern on 1 hour. Okay, so what do? We identify the low, this last candle, right? Identify the low of the last candle. We also go down to 15 minutes. Let's see the pattern we had on 15 minutes. And also on 15 minutes, we work with the low of this candle or the low of this candle before the reversal. So let's just work with this. Let's say this. Okay, let's work with this low. Okay, so we want to see price pull back to this area. Let's see where price is at the moment. You can see price had tested this area. You can see it has tested this area, and I expect it to drop, clear the liquidity. The Asian low liquidity has not been cleared, and I think that is residing. The Asian low liquidity is residing at this area. I want to see it clear all the liquidity residing at this area before going bullish. So that's my take on GBPUSD. This is a good time. If you want to sell GBPUSD, I think this is a good time to take the risk. If you want to sell GBPUSD, this is a good time to take the risk. You set your stop loss, let's say just 5 or 10 pips above this level. Because anything that makes price breaks this high, then we should expect more buys on GBPUSD. So your stop loss should be just like 5 or 10 pips above this level. So if we work with 15 minutes here, let's assume we don't have 1 hour, 4-hour time frame, and the higher time frame we can work with is just 15 minutes. So what do we have here on 15 minutes? We have an engulfing pattern, right? This is engulfing. Then we go down to 5 minutes. What pattern do we have on 5 minutes? You can see the pattern we had here. This is a bearish reversal pattern, right? Hanging man. Then we had a bearish candlestick. This 3 candlestick pattern. This is a bearish reversal pattern. It's engulfed the low of this candle, right? So after this form, we go down to 1 minute. I'm using 15 minutes as the higher time frame now. Okay, so on 1 minute, what do we have here? We had liquidity sweep at this point, right? This was used to clear the liquidity residing at this previous high. And what happened here? Shifting market structure, right? There was a shifting market structure here. You can see that shifting market structure. Price pulled back, tested this breaker, right? You can see price pulled back to test this breaker block. You can see it. And from that point, you can see the reaction from that point. Okay, so GBPUSD is bearish at the moment. It is bearish at the moment. So let's look at EURUSD. EURUSD should be bearish also. Okay, so let's start with the daily time frame. Sorry guys, yesterday the link I dropped was for 15th of May instead of 19th of May. That's why I always advise that you subscribe to the channel. So once you go to the channel, you'll find the valid link. When I make a mistake, you can always, YouTube will just notify you, so you get the link. So GBPUSD daily. So yesterday, you can see the pattern we had here is also similar to what we saw on GBPUSD. And that's because both pairs are positively correlated. So we had this pattern yesterday. Daily, we go down to 4 hours, same shooting star, or you call it a doji. Yeah, we had a doji here on a 4-hour time frame. We go down to 1 hour. On 1 hour, we identify, you guys know how we do it, identify the low. Okay. Then you go down to 15 minutes. Okay, we go down to 15 minutes, and on 15 minutes, we had this here. So we'll work with this. Is the last bullish candlestick that formed before the sells, right? So you can see price has pulled back. You can see that price has pulled back into that zone, and it has retraced close below that zone. That tells me it's time to sell. So it's likely going for this low. I think this is the low of the Asian session. I think it was 19th of May. Okay, 19th of May. Okay, so it's likely going to come clear liquidity residing at these lows. Okay, so I think EU is set for sell. That is what I see on EU. Look for sells on EU. Okay, look for sells on EU. Okay, look for sells on EU. If price breaks out from this high, then you should know your stop loss should be here. This should be your invalidation level. Anything that makes price breaks this high, then you should let it go. Take that loss. Okay, take that loss. So you said we should look at GJ. Yen is GBPJPY. Yen is, I think yen is bullish. My buyers on yen is bullish. GBPJPY. Let's see. Okay, my buyers is bullish on yen. It's a sell. I should have entered the trade here yesterday. I think when they set up, when it formed, I think I was asleep then. I should have entered this trade from this point because I knew yen was bullish. I knew yen was bullish and I knew it was going to sell. So what played out here on a 4-hour time frame? Well, let's start with the daily time frame. Okay, so you can see yesterday candle was used to clear the high of Friday. No, this was yesterday candle, right? So we had the liquidity reset at this previous high. We had a fair value gap. So you can see a fair value gap here has been filled. Can you see that on this is the daily time frame. Fair value gap, you can see it has been filled. And after the fair value gap got filled, what pattern do we have? So you can see what we had yesterday. This was the pattern we had on 4-hour time frame. Okay, so you can see yesterday what they just did was to test the fair value gap area. Right, they just tested it, and I told you guys the first test is most times used to create level of liquidity. The first test, you see that I didn't fill it entirely, so this is a trap. This is a trap for retail traders. So this is the first test, and it didn't fill it. So this was just to create liquidity. You can see that. So this morning, first thing they did, you can see, was to clear the liquidity residing at this previous high. So if I was awake, I would have waited for this 4-hour candle. I think this is the first candle for the day. I would have waited for this candle to close. And after the close of the candle, I would go down to 1 hour. I want to identify a bearish reversal pattern on 1-hour time frame. Okay, so this is what we had on 1 hour. This is the last bullish candle before this bearish move. So I would have identified, that is after the close of this 1-hour candle, I would have identified the low of this bullish candle. Then on 15 minutes, so I would have identified the low of this candle. You can see that. So I'll wait for price to retrace. I would have identified the low and wait for price to retrace. You can see it. So this would have been a good entry for GBPJPY. And since it has dropped, I think it has done over from this point, 193.66 to 193.66 to 192.97. That's about 74 pips. 74 pips. So I wouldn't be taking the sell from this point. So I would love to see price retrace to test this area. This is where I'll be considering going bullish, okay? This is where I'll be considering going bearish on GJ, sorry, GJ. To sell, but I would like to see price retrace, at least if we apply our Fibonacci from this swing high to this swing low, we want to see price pull back to a premium area. Okay, so I would like to see price test this area, this level, before going bearish on GJ. Okay, I'd like to see price test this 15 minutes candle, right? A zigzag should appear above a candle on 15 minutes around this area for me to sell GJ. I hope that is clear. What's your take? What's your take on GJ?
I'm already on a buy to this level. No.
Okay, you are buying. Okay.
Yes, I'm buying to that level.
So if you are buying from that, if you had bought, let's say you took your stop loss should be few pips below the low of this candle. That's a good one. Okay. Your stop loss should be few pips below the low of this candle. But I'll patiently wait. Let's see if it gets to this zone for me to join the trend. Okay, so let's look at gold. Let's start with the daily. When you said there was no class yesterday, I was like, what is Joseph saying? Didn't you see the link I dropped?
I waited, but I was
what?
like,
it was this morning I discovered that the link I dropped was the wrong link. It's an old link. So gold. Let's start with the weekly. So I think gold might still want to come use the low of last week as liquidity, this low. I think it might come for it. Let's see, after the close of last week candle, sometimes gold could be very unpredictable. Let's see. Okay, so I think gold is going to come for this low. I think this is the first attempt to test this fair value gap. Okay, this is the first attempt to fill this fair value gap. It didn't even fill the fair value gap entirely. So this is a trap. Okay, if it had filled this gap entirely, now one could risk buying it. But you can see they just tapped into this gap, didn't fill it entirely. And you can see we had a breaker block here, which is in confluence with this fair value gap. So I think this is a trap. So they are likely going to come for this low. So if you want to buy gold, patiently wait for price to come for this low before you buy gold. Wait for price to come, pull back to that area before you buy gold. That's what I see playing out on gold. So at the moment, I think gold just wants to clear, probably to just clear the liquidity residing at this previous high, or just test this supply zone, call it your resistance. Okay. So price fills this gap, then you wait for a bearish reversal pattern to form, then you can sell it to this level. That's what I see playing out on gold today.
All right.
That's what I see playing out. You can see the pattern that is forming here. Okay. So
yeah.
Wait for 1 hour candle to close. It closes as a bearish reversal pattern, but I'd like to see price, fill this gap, come and test this zone before taking the risk. And if I'm selling from this zone, just few pips, my stop loss will just be like 20 or 30 pips above the high of this candle. Anything that makes price breaks out from this high, then we should expect more buys on gold. So that's how I would trade gold if I'm to trade gold. Okay, so I told you guys I took a trade on GBP card, which is playing out. I'm thinking a few pips profit now. So why did I take this trade on GBP card? Let me start with the daily time frame. So you can see what we have here. Yesterday candle strongly bullish, and if you apply Fibonacci from the swing low from swing high to swing low, this will be a premium area. Price was used to clear liquidity residing at this previous high. Okay, that's what we have on the daily time frame. And after that, let's go down to 4 hour. Okay, so on 4 hour, you can see we had a bearish reversal pattern on 4 hour. This is a shooting star indicating change in trend. And after the formation of that shooting star, let's see what we had on 1 hour. So identify the low of this last candle. Go down to 15 minutes also. Okay, Then you identify, okay, we could use this. Okay, we could use this. Okay, the last low that formed before this bearish reversal. So wait for price to pull back to this zone. You can see the reason price pulled back to this zone. And I think I took myself from this area. Okay, price pulled back to this zone and I took that sell, which is in profit, I think about 10 pips profit at the moment. And I'm hoping it's gonna come down to, okay, this will be my first target. This will be my first target. The risk I'm taking on this trade is just 30 pips. 30 pips. So from 18640 to 80, that's about 40 pips. Immediately price taps into this zone. Immediately price taps into this zone. I would adjust my stop loss. My stop loss at the moment is at this level. Yeah, my stop loss at the moment, my stop loss at the moment is at this level, 8673 on GCAD. My stop loss is at this level, and once price hits this level, I'm going to adjust my stop loss to a few pips, let's say 10 pips above this level. Now, I shared with you guys my risk management strategy. Sir Joseph.
Yes, sir.
I told you guys that if a trade goes in my direction, how many pips? 30 pips. Is it 30 pips? Yeah, stop loss is 30 pips. The market goes in my direction, 30 pips. I would add more trade, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
But do you know that that risk management is not a good one?
Okay.
Do you know it is not a good risk?
No, I've not been implementing it. That was the video I was requesting for that I wanted to go through.
It's not a good one. It hurts.
Okay.
It hurts. Now let me tell you why it's not a good approach. Let me tell you why it's not a good approach. Now, if you take a trade, the market goes in your direction, 30 pips, right? You now execute another trade. It means on the second trade you execute, you're taking a risk of 30 pips. Now, on the first one, you are adjusting your stop loss to your entry level, right? Yeah, so the risk you'll be taking on that trade, the risk will now be on the second trade. Now, if the market reverses from that point, you're going to lose 30 pips on that trade, right? And you are aiming for 70 pips. So you are risking 30 pips to make 70 pips. But most times, I notice that price do reverses back and hit the stop loss. Yes. No, it's even stop loss, right? Okay. Price reverses back and hits your stop loss. So you lose 30 pips on a trade that you have made 30 pips profit on. You still make losses at the end of the day. Do you get it?
Yes, sir.
Why not execute your trade, take the 30 pip risk and aim for 70 pips, or you aim for 60 pips, which is 1 to 2, right? When the market now goes in your direction, you can adjust your stop loss to 10 pips below your entry, so that if price retraces back, you're just going to lose just 10 pips.
10 pips.
Instead of losing 30 pips on a trade that you have made 30 pips on. Do you get it?
Yes, sir.
So it's a wrong approach. It's a wrong approach. I see most times the market would always pull back, and the nature of the market that we are in now, the states that we are in now, most times the market moves 60 pips, 70 pips, it retraces. It moves 50 pips, it retraces. Do you get it? So I think that would only work in a trending market, but the market that we have now is not a trending market. It's a ranging market. So you can't apply such risk management or risk reward at the moment. You get me? It will hurt you a lot. You understand? It hurts a lot for you to have you've made good profits. 30 pips is good profits in the market, and the market goes back and you still lose 30 pips. So it's best you just go in, set your stop loss at that 30 pips. Then if you want to use 70 pips as your take profit, it is fine. And when the market moves in your direction, 30 pips or 40 pips, you move your stop loss to 10 pips. So if the market retraces, you just lose 10 pips. It's better to lose 10 pips than to lose 30 pips. Do you get it?
This format I've been using, the other one I didn't really get it right. That was the reason why.
Good that you didn't implement it. It would have. In fact, it messes up with one's psychology. It messes up with one's psychology. I just sat and I just did I was just reasoning that this thing, it's not a good approach. So I just take my trade, 30 pips, and set my reward, 60, 70 pips. If I like, I'll use 80 pips. If I like, I use 90 pips, depending on the time frame I'm working with. If it's a higher time frame, I can use 80 pips, 90 pips, and I will not risk more than just 30 pips. Please, if you have any question or any pair you want me to analyze, Mr. Eniola, good morning, sir. Thanks for joining. Mr. Makinwa,
good morning.
Any pair you want me to analyze, let me know. We've looked at GBPUSD, EURUSD. We've looked at the dollar index, and also we've looked at the YenBasket. YenBasket is bullish. Dollar index is, for today's market, is bullish. Dollar index is bullish. But for the week, dollar index is bearish. If dollar index is bearish, it means the dollar will be weak. That's what it means if dollar index is bearish. So that's my expectation for the week. But for today's market, I'm looking at buying the dollar. I'm looking at buying the dollar. Is there any other pair you want us to look at? Any question? Any question? Any question, Mr. Makinwa? Mr. Eniola, is there any other pair what pair are you considering trading today?
Actually, if you can hear me, I have issues funding my account.
What is the challenge?
Actually, you know, for a very long time, I've not been using
your account,
my MT4,
okay.
MT4 and MT5. So
okay.
linking it out of former Cabana,
okay,
and integrating to Aram.
Okay.
We have just completed that.
Okay, good.
So
okay.
Now I'm trying to fund it, but the link is not giving me a good interaction. The link which
What
needs
link?
to
What
fund
link?
my account.
What link? Just request for the Zenith account and just do your transfer.
Okay.
Just request for the
Is
Zenith
that
account,
easy?
do your transfer. And I believe
Maybe
you've
I will
contacted
tell
Victor, right?
Victor.
You've contacted Victor.
We have been talking, yes.
Okay. So once you make the transfer, just send the receipt to him and your account number. He will do the needful.
Okay. So guess right. Then before week runs out, I will come back live.
All right, sir. Just request for the account details.
Okay.
All right, sir. So that will be
not follow the web.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Makinwa.
Well done, sir. Sorry, it's like this broker is a new one now, have you?
Oral Market?
Yes.
No. Oral Market has been around.
Hey.
They changed the name from Cabana Capitals to Oral Market.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Do they have sent account, please?
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Okay.
They do.
Okay. Thank you. I will look into that.
All right.
Please, you can help us with the link for the account.
Okay. Just send me a message on WhatsApp, Mr.
Okay.
Makinwa. Send me a message on WhatsApp.
I'll do that.
All right.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Joseph.
Please, I want to confirm this MT5, can one sign up as a copy trader on a signal provider on MT5?
You are the master trader, right?
Yes.
As a master trader, you create an MT5 account and you want people who are using MT5 to follow you, right?
Yes, sir.
It's possible now. It's possible.
I don't know how to go about that.
I think if you're on MT5, you're using MT5 as the master trader, MT4 should be able to connect. They should be able to copy. Yeah, those with MT4 should be able to copy your trader, and those with MT5 should be able to copy your trade too.
How do I register as a master trader on MT5?
Okay, I think I created a video some time ago. I'll send you the video.
Okay, sir.
Or just hold on, let me see. Let me see if I can just guide you on how to do that. Just go to oralmarkets.com. Under Oral Market, you go to copy trading. Go to copy trading. Under copy trading, you go to a few minutes. Copy trading login. And from there, you click on register as a signal provider. So you just click on register as a signal provider. What's happening? It's taking time to open. I think I'll create a video, okay? So once you come here,
All right.
this is it.
All right.
So once
Hello,
you come
coach.
here, yeah, a few minutes, please. Once you come here, you click on
Okay.
your followers. Those that want to follow you, they will use this link. Register as a follower. As a provider, you would use this link. You could also create a customized link. You can just send the link to your follower. They don't have to come here. Once you create that link, you send it to them. Once they click on that link, it takes them to a registration page.
So I think it will be better you just do a short video on
video.
this,
Okay.
so that,
Okay. All right. Or maybe we have a Zoom session where you just do the setup. Okay. I will have a Zoom session with you later in the day.
Okay, sir.
So we'll just set it up and we'll set it up.
All right.
All right. Mr. Makiwa.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Mr. Aniola.
Yes. Further on my interaction with Victor,
okay.
The MT5 couldn't come up. That is my former details profiles with Cabana. But all profiles like my identity and document upload and other things were intact.
Okay.
So he now told me to make deposit. At the point of trying to make deposit is where I got hooked up. For my MT4, I had to open an account.
A new account, okay? Yeah, MT5,
for
right?
MT4, but the MT5 is intact. Other profiles are intact.
Okay.
But the point of where to do the deposit is where I got hooked up.
You mean login
No,
on
not login.
MT5?
I was trying to do it on the platform, on the web, That is to make payment.
You've opened a live account, right? You have a live account. You have your details.
My former details with Cabana before the Orum is intact. It's still valid except for MT5.
Your email address and password, right? To log into the website.
Everything, yes, is intact.
Yeah, but those your old accounts, they must have archived those accounts, those old accounts you had.
They archived only MT4. So MT5 is intact. I could see it's MT5 on the page.
Okay.
So when he said I should go ahead and make deposit, is where I got hooked up. So he now said he will put me through.
Okay. Okay.
So I will follow up with him.
It's okay, sir. It's okay, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, sir. Have a wonderful day, sir.
And you too. Thank you.
Joseph, Mr. Makinwa, have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Please, sir, you dropped the recorded session of this class.